Two.
Time's up.
Yeah, baby.
It's time to talk hard!
Greetings and salutations, my friends, or for those of you that are out there that are die-hard 2000 ADers, Barag Thung, Earthlets. Let's do this. Let's talk Dredd. Oh my gosh, what is so good. It's felt like I've had like a sabbatical or something in my life. It's been chaos for a couple of weeks. Hope all of you are doing well. We are here to talk hard about Dredd. 2000, this movie turned 10 years old, and I saw that pop up. I was like, holy cow, I can't believe. I remember covering this movie when it was released. Oh, it's crazy. So here we are. We have a special guest. We haven't had a special guest on Joker. We haven't had a special guest. You were the first. Joker voice here to my left. See, yeah, I guess that's to your right if you're watching at home. Joker voice, my friend. Thank you for joining the Talk Hard team.
Oh, hello, boys and girls, and what better special guest to have than me, the clown prince of crime.
What mischief we will get ourselves into as we have Stone Cold Loki with us. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing great. How are you? Yes, mayhem and mischief. Yes, I'm doing great. It's great to be back on here, Pops. Good to have you back, brother.
Yeah, man, it's been it's crazy. Thanks for all the support, man. You've been such a rock for me during some of this stuff. So, and IRONCASTER, the voice of calm and reason in the middle of all of it. Also, the instigator of all things that appear to be sharks and schlock. So, IRONCASTER's reputation definitely precedes him.
Oh boy, I guess I should probably have been spent all this time finding more terrible movies.
Well, you've got your fair share, and I have to give the people what they wanted because IRONCASTER's already like I couldn't even make it in Sharks from the Corn or Sharks in the Corn or whatever the heck that movie is called. But everyone voted voted
awful.
Insanely. So I will definitely do a review of that at some point here soon. But I will not force anyone else to endure it as much as I will do it to myself. However, he has committed to Thanks Killings, which I just tried to find it on Tubi, and it just started playing. I remember messaging them like, what am I watching? There's just boobs running around in the woods. Like, I don't understand what's even happening. There's no... So I just stopped it. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to go there with this. I don't know how we can even show any of this because it's just at this point, there's nothing even PG-13 about it. It's just senseless nonsense for an hour.
Well, you got to figure with a movie like that, they know they have a really terrible pun. They've put the entire movie around.
Yeah.
They got to sell you on something a little nice, like a pair of tatas or two.
That's all that was in the beginning. I have to stop this nonsense, and we'll come back and revisit it. Joker, you seen these things? You're like nodding along, like you're.
Well, because my friends over at the Salty Nerd podcast, they did a review of this film, and two other horrible holiday films, and that's just when he said the title, I'm like, oh yeah, that one.
Scars run deep. Then scars
Oh,
run
yeah.
deep. Then. So let's say hey to the folks in chat. Oh my God, let's start at the top. The Pops mod, the mod of all mods, the mod god even. Chris Persia himself. How are you doing, my friend, my brother? Oh, he's keeping things in order over there. Old Gamer 72 Cutlass, my friend. Thank you for hopping in and joining us. We appreciate that. Decepticon's Cave. Thank you, my friend. Hope you're doing all right there. Why don't I got a wrench, Pops? I don't really hand out wrenches. I've got a couple. Trust me,
Well,
Decepticon, if we need to get to a point where we need some help, we will definitely rope you in here.
Well, clearly you haven't said Hail Megatron in the chat enough.
Oh wow!
Apparently, wow.
See, listen how they're it's a tough crowd out there. Okay, and just for those of you at home, you're wondering, still having some computer issues. The lights are on. Florida is up and running for at least me and my area. There is still a lot of recovery to be done, but yeah, things could get weird, and we'll see how things go. Nosferatu, no, so all right, Matt. Nosferatu is here. Thank you, my friend. Awesome and great to see you. And the Dr. Adega Outlaw. How are you, my friend? Awesome. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Let's see if we missed anybody. What on earth? Your Muslim uncle hanging out with a $1.99 super sticker.
Ooh.
What do we got going on here? Let's see. I apologize, folks. If I'm clicking things, it doesn't happen. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that so much. And to make sure we have some smiles on everybody's face, let's play something that has a little bit of happiness and smiles for everyone. We find something good for our Muslim uncle. All right, well, let's do some Jack Burton and make Loki smile.
Yes, sir. The check is in the mail.
The check is in the mail. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a little Jack Burton clip out there. So needs a fire emoji. All right, yeah. All right, well, we'll take that. We'll take that. Let's see here. So let me see where I got here. So I just finished the Dead World book 2 of 3. Okay. Yeah.
With the Dark Judges, yeah.
Yeah, the Dark Judges. Yeah. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Stallone. What? No.
Trolling.
No.
Trolling.
You're trying to get a rise out of this. And we're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss some pros and cons. Joker is like an aficionado. This is his favorite, as far as I understand it, his favorite comic book adaptation. Is that a fair way to assess it?
I would say it is. I would say it is one of the top 3 comic to live action film adaptations. I put it up there with the Richard Donner Superman, and I put it up there with The Crow.
Okay. All right. Well, we will agree to disagree.
Thank you.
In some ways. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
I will say you're right about that, but for the wrong reason.
Fine. Whatever.
Anyway, Decepticon, it says, nice to see you back, Pops. I appreciate that, my friend. DJ Ronnie's like, yeah, it's on. Oh, boy. I'm like, yes. One of the few, DJ Ronnie is saying it's one of the few, again, man, my delay is just brutally unbearable. This is so frustrating. Sorry, guys. One of the very few comic book series that I want to read. Yeah, it is very, very good. Yeah, I can't recommend the comics enough. Not always the easiest to find, especially the oldest ones in the 70s. So yeah, Soul Assassin's here. Hey, my brother. Hopefully you're doing well. Let's see. I'll do some shorts for it. Decepticon's trying to get our mod rolls. And let's see. Yeah, I can't get the Stallone's helmet situation. Yeah, I know. Just brutal. So
I see folks are agreeing with my take on the Crow and Dredd. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I cannot disagree with Crow. Crow is freaking phenomenal. So Padawanabe's here. It's awesome, man. Thank you. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate all the kind words from folks all over the internet reaching out to me. And I know there were big gaps of communication. There were times where I didn't have power. There were times where power, basically just a quick hurricane update. Our power went out and came back on. And half the family were like, okay, we're out of the woods. And they like drained the bathtubs. They like went back to their life. And then, of course, when power actually went out for like a day and a half, their cell phones were going dead. They're running. I'm like, oh, gosh, you guys created so many headaches for me. But no, it was that we're fine. The houses are fine. We have property damage and stuff to like where all the critters live on the farm and things like that. So Nosferatu is praising Karl Urban, and that is where the praise needs to go because, hardcore. He lived out the role. Like the issue with Dredd is not Karl Urban. Karl Urban, and he stayed in character like all the time. Loki, I don't know if you knew that, but that seemed like something you and I can definitely relate to, and how much we have a grown affinity for. It's like immersed, wouldn't come out of character. Like people would tell jokes and have laughs on set, and he was just like stoic. And evidently, there's a story where one person like apologized for the joke. Like they said the joke, people are laughing. He doesn't even flinch, and he just kind of said, they just looked at him and just said, "I'm sorry." And I think that story is just perfect. It's just perfect. So, Liger fans hopping in. How you there? Oh, you're doing well. So anyway, so Dredd comes out in 2012, and it was really an interesting thing for me covering live because it sounded like it was going to be a mess. There's a lot of fighting between Alex Garland. This is Alex Garland's baby. He's the writer. He's the comic book fan. He's the one working with the creator, John Wagner, to kind of put all this stuff together. Joker, I don't know if you've seen, because you're such a massive fan. Have you ever looked up Jock's art? There's a whole book they did that reprints his. He actually did an entire storyboard script for this film. And I think it's in a book form. So let's go to eBay, put in Dredd and Jock. Jock is the artist. He's a British artist. And you can have this amazing storyboard. I've seen the book. I don't have the book anymore. I've seen it, and it's just phenomenal. That's kind of how they sold it, right? Because you guys know studios have no clue to what these people are talking about. And Dredd is a pretty obscure comic book for Americans. People, this is a British comic book. It was birthed out of that Star Wars era. We got to have some sci-fi stuff to throw in there. And I never even got into the old Dredd until way later. The new Dredd was what I was into. Did you guys get into the comic books at all? I guess let me start with you, man. Do you guys any comic book exposure really, or?
Oh, I mean, I've gone and picked up the odd bit of Dredd stuff over the years, but it really wasn't until after I had seen Dredd that I got into it. In fact, actually, I happen to have one here I can show real quick.
Yeah. Let me Uber nerd out on some Dredd comics.
Oh. Wow.
That's just perfect. Look at the scowl. Look at the scowl. It's just perfect. That's what Karl Urban brings to life, is that look right there.
But also my favorite part of this book.
Oh, I flipped it. I'm sorry.
The back cover.
Oh, that's funny.
It's like the old trading cards from Mars Attacks.
Right.
Yeah. Loki, what about you, man? You get into Dredd? When did your
It wasn't until after the Sylvester Stallone movie. I liked the character, I had seen that movie and I was like, okay, I like this character. It's just this goofy oddball shit's all wrong. I wasn't a big fan of the comedy relief and all that, but I thought the character was cool. And I had a buddy that read it, so he was like, okay, this is what happens with, like, this is the real Rico, and this is how they were really born, and this is what happened, and he got exiled to Mars and then comes back, and Rico's gonna kill Dredd, and there's like so much more story there that they just kind of glossed over in that movie. It's like they cherry picked it, just like Hollywood does with everything else. They cherry pick what they want, and they throw everything else out, and you only end up getting a quarter of the good story, and the rest is all Hollywood bullshit filler. So it wasn't until after the Sylvester Stallone movie that I was like, okay, I'm gonna check out these comics. Yeah.
And like I said, there's this massive drama leading up with Alex Garland, and of course they hire Pete Travis, who is technically the director. But according to Urban and other folks, Alex Garland did all the heavy lifting. So I don't know. I mean, literally, Pete Travis was kind of replaced at kind of like the editing phase. Like, he's not responsible for our final product and didn't really do much with promotion. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of giving Pete Travis much credit. To me, this is an Alex Garland product. This is what we got. And Karl Urban was the casting home run that they managed to get. And everything else fell in line after that because Lena Headey just kills it. And Mama was created for this. Like, I actually thought Mama was part of it. Because I'm like, well, I'm going through comic book lore at the time, trying to find this stuff, and I couldn't find anything. And then finally they came out and said, no, this was added and this was added. Because, like I said, half this stuff is from the late 70s and early 80s before Wagner rebooted it. in I think it was 83. One of you in chat will definitely correct me. So
because I had heard that Carl said that the reason this film didn't do well was not because of the film, it was the marketing. It just wasn't marketed at all.
Well, and they also, I think, rolled out the 3D version because this is that era where 3D was kind of like trying to say it was going to be a thing and not be a thing.
Right.
And a lot of folks didn't go see it because it would be like only 3D screenings versus regular screenings. And it created a big mess. And it finished like 5th in the box office, I think. It was like in the middle of the pack, maybe 4th, 5th, or 6th. So it didn't do that thing. You have to kind of hit, you know what I mean? You kind of make the headline, get all that free Monday morning promotion about being #1 at the box office, and it didn't do that. And it's a rated R movie, and it's a hardcore movie. Like, this is not for everyone.
No.
There are scenes where, you know, it's over the top with, as a comic book would be. Like, it's a comic book film, right? So let me see if I miss anything else here. Nice choices there. Let's see. I remember this was supposed to be the Dredd series. Let's see. This is a Soul Assassin. I hate when you click a thing and it won't pop up fast enough for me, and then it covers and I can't read it. I remember there was supposed to be a Dredd series that went silent. I don't know anything about that. Do you guys know anything about that? I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, there've been basically ever since this movie came out, there had been talks for years about them doing a Mega City 1 story or a series that Dredd wouldn't be in. That I think would have been about Anderson.
Right. Nas says Karl Urban did a great job. He could actually reach the top shelf at a grocery store. Yeah, definitely. Well, more than anything else, he said, I'm not doing it unless I can keep the helmet on the whole time. He had certain requirements, things like that. So there's a Dredd motion comic on YouTube that focuses on Mama's origin. Yes, there is like a prequel. Mama's prequel comic book exists, and it is super cool. Like, it really, really gives you a lot there. That's awesome. So
I actually did a couple, maybe a month or two ago. I actually did a video on Dredd as a recommendation.
Awesome.
And I did some pros and cons, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. So I'll just save that until we get to that.
All right. So, let's jump to it a little bit. Well, before we do, what are some of the overarching thoughts, like takeaways, pros and cons? Loki, let me start with you. Like, overarching pros and cons. I know you mentioned the Stallone version, because for me, the Stallone version, I think they tried to go for some more authenticity with the costume, except for the helmet. The helmet is better with Urban's version.
Yes.
They threw out the entire concept of him wearing the helmet, and they threw out pretty much the entire premise of anything that was gritty, and it just become like a Hollywood popcorn film. So the film itself but there were certain elements of the costume that was more authentic to the original. But I don't feel like I lost anything. Like, I never felt like I lost anything with the costuming or anything like that. But I wanted your guys' thoughts on some of the thoughts on the,
you gotta have the right look. Number one, the look has to be right. So Dredd has to look right. His lawgiver has to look right. There are people that will tear this shit apart and that tore the Stallone movie up for the lawgiver. You gotta have the right equipment. Everything, the Mega City 1 needs to look right. The lawmaker, the bike has to look right. The Lawmaster, thank you. The Lawmaster has to, everything's gotta look right, and it's gotta look like these judges use this every day. Okay, my biggest problem with Stallone showing up in the original Dredd was he looks dapper as soon as he shows up. No, it should be, there are things that should be worn, weathered. These guys go out every day. They're outnumbered. They're massively outnumbered. That's one of the things they talk about a lot in the comics that you kind of got to figure out on your own with both of the movies is the judges are massively outnumbered. If the entire city were to riot, they are outnumbered, outgunned. But they have to maintain law and order, and it's something that the comic books did a very good job in explaining and showing you and walking you through. And and they just kind of throw it out there. Oh, well, guess what? There was a nuclear war. Everyone lives in mega cities now, and judges patrol the street. It's a lot deeper than that. And there's corruption. They never explain to you in this movie why you've got a group of judges that are corrupt. And that's something that, you know, I know we're going to get into, but they never really go into that. And that goes back to, hell, the guy that created Joe and Rico, he told them the system is flawed. It's been flawed from the very beginning. That's something that needs to be incorporated in every movie they do, is the knowledge that this system, while it functions and while it's done its job, is that it's very core flawed. It's not like you've got an army of Judge Dredds out there that all think like he does. So
yeah, they like when Mama calls in the corrupt judges, there's no like conversation on them being corrupt. They just expose it to us that way, where that is pretty commonplace in the comic book. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. Ironcaster, what are some of your thoughts on that as far as like what works and didn't work for you, like as a whole?
I mean, overall, I think it does kind of work in. Sorry, let me try that again. One of the big issues I have is that while this is an excellent film, the issue is it's not a good representation of the Judge Dredd universe, because the Dredd universe of the comics is a parody ultimately. That it was done just like it was done to kind of mock the how ridiculous things were getting at the times, and so you would have a ridiculous world, but with a where Dredd is the one who is the ultimate straight man of it all, who's taken it as serious as possible, to the point where he only scowls.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean
the movie gets Dredd, like Karl Urban as Dredd is, I would say, damn near perfect.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that.
But where the movie does work though is kind of in this little, oddly enough, like after watching Cyberpunk Edge Runner, like it is a really good representation of that, living in that kind of world, like having one more little piece of media to go to after watching Cyberpunk Edge Runner and playing the video game 77, that it in a way just kind of gave me a little more of that itch to scratch.
Joker, are you familiar enough with the comic books to kind of get what Ironcaster's coming at, or what are your thoughts?
Not really, because I know when the Stallone film came out, I knew how Dredd looked, and I had known enough about, he never takes off his helmet. He's the ultimate follower of the law kind of thing. But other than that, I'm a film guy, so my stuff is from the films.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as the comic go, it is all just kind of a big kitchen sink of ideas. In the Stallone movie, you had I can't remember, the Joy Boys, the guys who have these big dials in their head that show like how angry they get. It's like this is a crazy zany concept. There is a gang of people that are so incredibly bulbous and fat that they have to have a tiny little wheel to hold their bellies up, called the fatties.
Yeah, they make jokes about that in this movie. It just all stuff kind of just goes by really quickly. The Decepticon Cave. He says he was in a Dredd way back in the '88, and mentions he still has issues 9, 10, 11, and 12 from number 1, the Eagle Comics ones. Decepticon, if you've never shared those in a short or something, please share those. Just let me know. I would love to see those. I have not seen those in a minute. That'd be awesome. So, Liger Fan talks about the judges having jock straps on the outside in that 95 version. Thought universe. Yeah, I agree. Loki, I think, hit the nail on the head, because it's just everything looked like it had come from the cleaners. Like you were going to like a military ceremony and not actually like a functional uniform. It just didn't work. But I think Ironcaster's right that it wasn't. See, that's a tough thing. It's like it's trying to pick a tone for a film like this, because it needs to be gritty, and I think they nailed all of that, and they created like the microcosm of what Mega City 1's supposed to be. But it also didn't seem parody enough. They had to pick something, and they couldn't grab both pieces. And it's like it would be tough to figure out how to keep building on this universe and not seem silly with some of the stuff they did in the comic books that I'm not sure would translate. Like you were saying, Ironcaster, like having the guys with the, the dials on their head. It becomes goofy and weird, and it doesn't fit the same type of feeling that they were going for in this movie, which I think works really well for the Dredd.
They don't nail. In this movie, they don't nail everything correct. Like Anderson's a different type of judge. In the comic book, she's a side judge. In this movie, yes, she's a side judge, but they have her out there like a street judge. She would have never. They wouldn't have thrown her out there like a street judge. She's a side judge. That's what she does. She is psionic. She's not supposed to be out doing like what Dredd does every single day.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, she would be an assigned judge. She'd be at the other judge, which was fine. I think this works okay. It's like a year one, like as an introduction to Anderson, and that was fine. I think that multiple movies for this film could have worked. It would be difficult figuring out what tone they'd want to go with. And Liger fan also mentioned that the friend was not particularly thrilled about the 3D showing of the like it just didn't go well. I got to be honest, I never saw this in 3D. Especially with the slow-mo effects and some of the blood splattering. I'm not sure how well that would have played. I don't know. I never saw the 3D version, but I could see why some folks would not have wanted to see that. So
I have an example of what I was talking about.
All right, let me see what you're talking about here.
Oh my.
Oh, right. These are the fatties. Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird and goofy and things.
Right.
And again, this is, when this kind of was going on, you got to remember this stuff comes out. Like there's so many issues of 2000 AD. They could just try different goofy things to see what would work. So it's just like any other pick a title. And like, before the show, we were talking about She-Hulk and they randomly throw out, Man Bull. And you're like, this isn't even the version of Man Bull, which was kind of stupid and silly in the comic book. So you can throw enough things against the wall. But it would be hard to figure out how we're going to include these in the universe that they created. Like it's a difficult, I don't know. Yeah. So some things work, some things don't. But that's what I thought would be interesting about picking a movie like this. So
yeah, because my thing from the two films, and I agree with what Loki said, because they mentioned it in Dredd that there's like 17 violent crimes a minute, 6,000 per day, and they can 17,000 per day, and they can respond 6%. To 6%. So clearly they are telling you we're fighting a losing battle here. As far as the films, the one thing that I will give the 95 film over the 2012 film is I liked Judge Hershey more than I liked Judge Anderson. And I mean Diane Lane. I mean, you really can't go wrong with Diane Lane.
Yeah, and Hershey ends up being one of the major judges too, one of the 5. Mm-hmm. That character eventually will end up being one of the major judges. So yeah, she's got a great character.
And then as far as the as far as Dredd, I mean, Karl Urban definitely over Stallone, and I will take Mama over I'll take Lena Headey over Armand Asante any day of the week.
You didn't like I am the law.
No.
No.
We will probably do more like bigger jumps in this since we have 4 people. We'll make sure we get through some of it. So the intro and stuff on this, I actually, when I rewatched it today, I rewatched it last week and I just thought to myself, man, the pacing on this film was better than I remembered it being. As we jump right into things and they just get into this, we have a chase scene right out of the gate and he's doing a shoot up and he's, he flips the truck and we have great moments. And by the way, if all of you think that there's no way we could do the amount of trivia, the I Spy stuff in a film like this, by the way. So if you go to any of those type trivia sites and people that are really into 2000 AD, the comic book series, like inside the van in these sequences, there's references and these different shots to different things. I think Ironcaster, there is a Fatties reference in here somewhere. Things like that. It's like I pick up on pieces of it sometimes, but I can't always keep it straight in my head. We would be here for freaking 5 hours breaking down the amount of cameo, little Easter eggs and crap they have in this movie. But again, this is the credit to the writer.
And considering how long the comic's been going continuously, there's so many things they can reference that I'm not even aware of.
Yep. So, but this movie doesn't waste any time. In that chase scene, they clip a civilian. It's giving him a chance. Dredd's explaining narration. He's explaining some general rules. He's some general context of things like this is a type of law. This is what I do. All of this stuff's playing out for the audience. They do repeat it later in the film. They didn't really need to, but it all moves very quickly. And they also set the tone that this is not a kid superhero movie. This is a very dark, gritty, bloody mess.
I want a Lawmaster.
Look at that.
Just saying.
I heard your hot shot.
Look at this shot. And just everything about it, like you guys were talking about The Crow. That would be the best film I can say on a comparable level of they create a universe and look at all of, talk about filming on location, set design, costuming, character design. Oh man, this movie, I was just on cloud 9 today watching this again. Like, I just be honest, I was so thrilled, and all I kept thinking about is I can't wait to spend time with the guys talking about a movie that has so much depth in it. Even if we're going to criticize it, it's not comic book accurate, fine, but look at what they were able to accomplish. It's freaking great.
Right. Bear in mind, this came out the same year as The Dark Knight Rises and Avengers.
Yep.
This
is
on par with them easily.
Okay, we'll have to.
Maybe this I would say is probably above Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, I can agree with you there. Avengers to me, by the way, for those who are wondering, I consider Avengers in 2012 to be like the perfect popcorn movie for its time. It kind of created like a new Jaws effect. This is the new era of what we can actually accomplish and pull off. Now, again, it's all been downhill.
Scope of it.
It's been downhill since then in many, many ways, but at least we were able to know that it could happen. Dredd was it was The Crow for me. It was like going backwards to when I experienced The Crow for the first time. I was like, holy crap, we really can create a universe, get an amazing performance to carry something. But I got to be honest, as I was watching this, I don't know, Loki, you chime in because we have this great appreciation for like these other actors. There's every little character is freaking amazing in this film.
No, they are. They absolutely are. Everybody's got a goal, even from the littlest henchman, where they're trying to hunt down Dredd, to Mama, to Dredd, to Anderson. Everybody's got their thing going on in this movie.
Yeah. And it was funny how much time has changed, because I admit if this had come out in 2022, would we talk about, a POC race swap and gender swap? Because you just feel like, I have like Hollywood PTSD now. When I go back and I watch this movie, like no one cared. Why are you making an issue of it today? Because nobody cares. So I really can't say enough about how great his helmet is. Look at it, like you were saying, Loki. Look, it's all scuffed up.
Right, it's got
beautiful.
The scrapes, the dinginess of it.
Yeah. You can just tell that man has laid that bike down.
My only complaint, and if I'm looking for something, is I don't think Karl Urban has quite the right jaw. Like, it doesn't have quite the right amount of definition for what I would like in a Judge Dredd, but I am overall happy with his performance.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree. I think that there'll never be another better Judge Dredd than this. I don't think you can get it. Because in the comic book, the jaw at times is so exaggerated, it's not really a human. it's so over the top in the comic book. It's almost like a Jay Leno on steroid. Like, it's even a bigger exaggeration than that. I don't know. We could have something that we could be distracted by.
Bruce Campbell.
Well, it's funny you say that, because when the other judges show up, the corrupt judges, there is one that always makes me pause, that I always hesitate. Is it Bruce Campbell? Because he has a Bruce Campbell, a little bit of the voice, but kind of a swagger and demeanor about him. I think it's Lex. I think it's Judge Lex. And I'm pretty sure that it's not Bruce Campbell, by the way, for those of you who are going to correct me and blow me up in chat. I know it's not Bruce Campbell. However, there you go. So yeah, just loving it. So let's head back to chat for just a quick moment, make sure I don't miss anything that's really cool to get to. Say hey to everybody. Sorry if I miss you guys coming in and out. I apologize for that. Nas is saying, yeah, they nailed the look of the city, which was the most important thing they needed to get right besides Dredd himself. Yeah, and you think that, where Ironcaster is right, though, because the comic book has just so much lore and so much with it. They had to pick something. And what they picked, they stuck with and did a good job of developing it. Look at that. From Japan. Drocket. Yes, there's a 2000 AD fan. He knows how to talk the language. I wish I could join this conversation. Love Karl Urban. Well, man, wish I knew. You told me. You got to hit me up ahead of time. We get all squared away. Princess Leia Rose is here. Hey there, lady. Nice to see you. And let's see.
Hashtag Team Leia. Hashtag Team Leia.
There's some insider stuff right there. Yeah, that Team Leia. There was a game release called Crackdown. Had Judge Dredd idea all over it. The populace is at the breaking point, and it comes a newly introduced super officer. Dredd did it better, of course. Okay, cool. Noted. Hey, Baron's here. Awesome. Hey, man, how you doing? Talk about someone that has so much stuff he should be showing off. Where are the shorts, Baron? Baron, need more shorts. Show off that stuff. Cyberpunk Edge Runners was fantastic. Everyone's saying that. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be down. I'll catch up, I promise, at some point. And Gray is saying what you were saying, Ironcaster, is the comic was definitely a satire. It was definitely poking at 1980s, late 70s, 80s American crime. Like, it was totally like,
Yeah, the Reagan era.
Yeah. Well, look at this. He's shots fired. Judge Dredd is one of the greatest characters made. No, I can agree with that. That's fair. One of, yeah, sure. Yeah. So you are not a member of the Fatties. Anyway, that is funny though, by the way. Thank you for the reference. That's freaking great. But yeah, no, I just can't say enough about this cast. And then of course we get Mama. Again, folks, remember, all this has happened and we are literally like 10 minutes of screen time. This is how we get introduced to scenes. Like, we have this incredible crane shot. She's in a bathtub. She's using slow-mo, so we get our first reaction of this technology.
Lena Headey.
Shot.
Right?
Yeah, Lena
Headey. Yeah.
Oh. Who
yeah, you didn't know that, Ironcaster? Lena Headey. That's Lena Headey. That's Cersei Lannister, brother.
That's Cersei.
And look at his face. Yes. Yes.
Who I would say is in my Mount Rushmore of pop culture villains.
Yes.
Cersei Lannister.
She's very underrated.
That's Lena
Headey.
Headey.
That's for sure. Yeah. She is.
And she was also
phenomenal.
She was also the wife of Leonidas in 300.
Yes.
There's Kay. He's the guy. When they do this torture scene, basically they're going to skin some people and throw them over the balcony or whatever. He's the guy that's captured, and we're going to follow that in the story. So, look at how good she looks.
He is from Remember Birth of the Titans.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Julius.
Joker knows his shit.
Yeah, he does. This is incredible stuff where they suit up. They're going to head out so this is a great reason I think why they chose to handle Anderson the way they did was because this is a great way to write and give the audience as much information as you can without overloading them, because they're interacting and how they're discussing what they're going to do. And it felt very natural. It felt like it was, teacher, student, mentor, first day. It all worked. But when we have exposition in like modern writing, it's like, I'm going to talk to you now. I'm going to talk to you. There's no humans. There's no humanized. Like, it's just all of it felt fake. This is a great way to really do. Again, we are less than 15 minutes in this film. We can't get this much information out of 4, 5, 6 episodes sometimes of these TV shows. That's how freaking great this script is.
It's comparable in a way to modern comic books where you'll go back, you'll read, like, for example, we were talking earlier about the Frank Miller Daredevil, where you can get so much jam packed into one single issue.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a modern book and it's like, okay, 5 pages of this is everyone sitting around and eating dinner, like.
No, Miller. I'm going to do a whole video. I can't not do a video because I was so moved. Anyway, long story short, for those of you who didn't know, we were talking about She-Hulk, and there's Man-Bull. Man-Bull started in Daredevil. I don't remember having read those anytime recently. I reread them, and that took me down the Daredevil rabbit hole, which made me really read the good stuff, which is Miller. And in issue 168, when he introduces Elektra, it's followed about Bullseye, and of course, there's a 3 arc of Kingpin, and it's like gold. It's so rich, and yeah, I have to do a video. It's so freaking good. And you're right, because story, it's actually good writing, and it's beautiful. This script is so good, and it has its moments we'll get to, but it's really good.
And Pops, you are exactly right. Just for this type of a film, for that exposition is the perfect way to do it as a instructor student. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, it's just you have to take advantage of what the scene is for in the time. Like they're walking, right? Okay, if this was a Marvel film and today, they would be cracking a joke. They'd be cutting up. Oh my God. Or she'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I had a burrito this morning. It's going to give me gas. Or it's like, it'd just be all this cheeky, stupid, nonsensical things. Or, it would just be, no, they're still discussing like crime scenes and what the rules are. Oh, are you going to do this? And are you going to do that? Like it just gives you the audience to know so much information. Now, again, I can't agree more. And I couldn't agree more. Right. Yeah. I can't agree more with what IRONCASTER was saying, even what Loki was saying too. Like this universe is so massive and what they can do. I think you just have to pick and choose your battles. And the movie did a good job of creating something. Now, again, we go from there. So let me bit because they're going to go to the crime scene. They find the skinned bodies and some more blood. Those kinds of things start happening. And again, the other thing they did too, which again is so smart, is we get a way to film on location because of budget, right?
Yes, so, I was just about to bring that up. The fact that they keep this contained. You want to talk about a wonderful way to spend your budget where you can get the most out of your budget. Bravo, exactly what you said, Pops. This is the way to do it. The fact that it's in this building, it's contained for most of the movie. You don't have to worry about giant city streets. You don't have to worry about filming on location somewhere. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just
I think they filmed
location shots.
No, they filmed it on location in Johannesburg on purpose because they scouted pieces of it. It's a fascinating featurette. So if you guys look up the featurettes on this film, because I rewatched it again today to make sure I wouldn't misspeak too much. They found spots in Johannesburg where some of those faraway shots are pieces of Johannesburg with the appropriate plates and buildings from Metro City put over it. And they just, again, this is old school filmmaking. This is exactly what you did. When we made Tatooine, we went on location and we found this and we used a matte plate and we made this and that's how you did it. It's like, I'm shocked that this was only 10 years ago because it seems like it's from the 80s or something. Because we don't make films like we have lost our way so fast in 10 years. This movie shocked me to my core. Look at the shots that we're looking at.
Amazon, take notes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying was besides the city street shots, filming all in this building, you've got all your set right here. That's that. So much can be saved on, well, we don't have to have it in some giant street. We don't have to have a street war. We don't have to have all this stuff where you've got to use all this CGI and all this crap. You've got everything in your studio. You've got this big building. All you got to worry about is the beginning of the movie where you do see the city and the end of the movie. That's it.
I moved my mouse and I lost my shot. There it is. Look, if this was today, we wouldn't have these structures on the camera. This would just be a CGI shot. This wouldn't be there. They purposely have several shots where you're shooting through windows and barriers and you're adding depth. And again, this was released in 3D, so it's giving you depth, it's giving you proportions and things like that. These decisions are on purpose. Today, oh my gosh, guys, I mean, I about lost my mind at I don't know how many episodes of the Halo series. It looked like a freaking sterile environment that was rolled out for the shot and rolled away. There was nothing believable about most of that film, the show. I don't know.
This works in a nice way to give a sense of claustrophobia, given how ultimately it's about them being trapped inside of the tower. And right. I think that works brilliantly for this.
Yep. And Loki, you're right about, we have this cool building because I kind of skipped. There's an elevator shaft shot where they have that a couple of times. And of course, then you have the courtyard. So you're kind of looking up and down in this massive building that they filmed in. So you have all this stuff. And again, look at the technology for 2012, the graphics that they were able to pull off in this film. It's freaking awesome, man. I was really impressed. I don't know that I took note of that earlier when I thought about evaluating this. This is the slow-mo effect when they're shooting people. Everything is in. It's almost excruciating and difficult to watch in some ways because obviously you have everything happening. Like it just takes so long for bullets to go through people's faces and stuff. But also super cool.
One of the neat things about how that idea came about was someone was listening. I think it was of all places, Justin Bieber.
Yeah, that's the sound effect. The sound effect is a Bieber song.
Oh, right. So the idea was
question.
the slow mo came from like a Justin Bieber song slowed down to like 1,000% or some ridiculously slow speed like that.
Yeah.
But then they didn't want to obviously pay Justin Bieber and put that on the soundtrack for Dredd, so they went and made something different. But yeah, it was just kind of a fun fact that this is part of this is partially inspired by that.
I like when they were describing Mama and her history, how she feminized her old pimp.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a nice way of saying chopping off something.
Well, bit it off, and there's a quick shot of it later on in the film, right? When Kay's having his brain is being violated by Anderson, and it's like he thinks he's doing one thing, and he looks down and sees the mama reenacted because that's what he either saw or he thinks he re-envisioned when she did it to the pimp. And again, what are we at 30 minutes in?
Yeah, we're barely in this film.
No, we're less than that. We're less than 30 minutes in. We understand the judges enough. We understand its training. We understand what some of the rules are. We understand it's a murder situation, why they have a murder, a little bit about the drugs, how the drugs works. Mama's got a backstory. I mean, this is freaking crazy. This is I just couldn't believe how tight the script was in the grand scheme of
and the pacing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at because all of this worked really well. I'm going to jump ahead again to another character. So this guy,
I love him,
General Hux, man. General Hux. Donald Gleason is a very underrated actor. Yeah, he is transformed in this movie. For those of you who didn't know, that was General Hux. Surprise, surprise. So,
I really should have looked at this cast better.
Yeah, that's General Hux, man. Yeah, it's freaking great. Let me get my glasses on and make sure that I got because Christian Fandom Geek popped in. Hey man, hope you're doing all right. Yeah, we have crazy. I don't know. We got rid of those
crazy people.
Dating site stuff. I don't know if Chris got it or not. Let's see here. Yeah. Look, we must be doing something right if the porn bots come in here. That's all I'm just saying. We did something right. If we didn't get it, we'll get it.
He's got a very shaggy Orville look.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's incredible. And there's shots as his character actually is getting progressively more abused and worse in the film. So they add more eye makeup. His hair's getting crazier. Like it is again, the subtleties and the attention to every single character, these second, third characters, it just matters. So, Liger made this reference. I'm going to throw it up here because I don't know what Johnny Alpha Strontium Dog is. What is that? You guys know? I do not know what that is, so I'm going to make a note. Liger fan, check that out. I have no idea what Johnny Alpha is. I will tell you this group that made this film are not going to work well together again. Like this was a once in a lifetime film to get this made. Alex Garland is his own dude. He's doing his own things now. He wants to be more of a writer again. He's kind of backing out of doing directing. But Pete Travis, this was happening. Urban's also been done other stuff. So,
right.
And outside of Bruce Campbell, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's so tough.
I did hear on Midnight's Edge that Urban would love to go back and be Dredd again.
To this day.
Oh no, yeah, I agree. I've heard him say that. Now I don't know how long ago that was to now. Like it's just tough. Anyway, George Lucas did pop in, by the way, so we're good.
Yes, sir.
And Chris Purchase got all those bots. We're good to go.
At last, so. I've come. My name is George.
How you doing,
George?
I'm
George.
There's a not enough.
For those of you don't know, I was still kind of back in my spot when I saw him.
Here.
I would not consider meeting George what I got to do. I was just still shocked at how short he is. He's a little tiny human.
I played one of the Ewoks.
He's not quite that short, but he was way shorter than I thought he was. I thought he was just like normal size. He is not. He's probably like 5'6" to something like that. He's really short. So, but yeah, they're trapped in the building, and this really is amazing set design for that. I wanted to get to that guy, and I didn't think I paused it fast enough. Okay, so anyway, no, this dude, he's in something else too. Come on now, there it goes. Okay. Make it back. I know Loki had to step out for a second. That's Black Loki in the Loki show where they all have all the Loki show up.
That's right.
That's Black Loki. That's there's a nickname. That's not what they call him, but that's who that is. So,
Like so many of these actors have gone on to like
I
get
know.
some high profile work.
he has also been in Game of Thrones and some stuff like that. He's just like one of these guys. It's on like an episode or two, a little bit parts, little cameos. He's never like had like a breakout kind of thing. He just has a general look. It's not unique enough. Like it doesn't. He's like in a group of 4 or 5 other actors that probably look similar and it's just this is the nature of Hollywood. How they do this, who they get. So, but yeah, but again, delivers unique characteristics. You know, he's the one that confronts the corrupt cops and corrupt judges, and just there's elements there of character development and story arcs. It's just amazing what we can do. And we're only like 35 minutes in the movie. And again, we meet this lady. They bust in. They're trying to find a place to hide. She has this little story about her kid. We don't have to see the kid. One of her, is it boyfriend or husband, is hunting Dredd. Anyway, we care about this lady. I was so impressed at the writing. Gosh.
Well, not only that, her boyfriend was the one that Anderson had to put down.
Oh, that's who this dude is? That's Kay?
Yeah. When they were attacked in the lobby,
okay,
they had the guy on the ground on his knees.
Gotcha.
And
she hesitates. Yeah.
Yeah, so she has to like look her in the eye, and
I just wanted to say the scene right before or this with the little light bomb. There is humor in this, but it's that dry humor where Dredd's counting down. You got 10 seconds left, and the guy's like, "No, you got 5." And he's like, "Okay, thanks."
Yep.
It's just enough humor.
Yeah. No, I agree. Old gamer, that's the problem, man. We can't ask for certain things right now because our culture is just not. It's not having it, man. It's just not working out for us. So. But yeah, no, great characters. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know if she's in anything else. And then we cut back to Mama and this general structures. I want to get to, hang on here. I should have brought my disc. I should have put my disc in. I had the disc at home and I left it because I was watching in the middle of freaking hurricane weather, and it stayed there. We got to get to the rotary. We got to get to the rotary cannon. So. There's a little bit of the script does get a little bit slow leading into the rotary cannons and then coming out of the rotary cannons.
If you notice that screen, there's like a fence over that screen. Everything in this, every building, every room, their uniforms, everything you're seeing in this is lived in. That is so different from what you got in Stallone's Dredd, because it would be like, okay, well, here's some rundown parts of the city. Oh, look, here's this pool party with all these chicks in a bikini and they're all waving, and oh, I'm gonna live there. Everything in this world that you're seeing in this movie is lived in. It's used. It's scuffed. It's a slum.
Yep.
What do you think the world's gonna be after a giant nuclear holocaust?
Right.
Why are there mega cities? Because everybody's got to live crammed on top of each other in these zones because the rest of the U.S. isn't livable. I can believe it here. I couldn't believe it in Stallone's movie. There were things that were just unbelievable in Stallone's movie compared to this movie.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. No, I think this was what was captured in the comic book that they fleshed out over years. And the movie captures the essence of that, even though they had to make sort of like their own version of how they wanted to handle it and those kinds of things. So this is after they captured Anderson.
Okay.
I'm missing the rotary gun scene. I got to go back and find the rotary gun scene because the rotary gun scene is to die for. Like, it's so freaking great.
And I want to talk about that scene that you were just showing there. How Mama is terrifying. She is scary. She's believable. She's never yelling. She doesn't have to yell to be like, I am girl boss. I am lady boss. I don't have. She commands every scene she is in.
No, she's just that. She's like that violent, that intimidating. She doesn't have to be like tough and prove she's the strongest one. She's just like, she's the dirtiest fighter there is.
Yes. And
Yeah, it's truly
I am legitimately scared of her. Hi X.
Oh
Yeah, this stuff is just freaking great. All I can tell you, folks, and again, there's a little bit of lag leading right up to the rotary cannon, and there's some lag after when we have to get these are the corrupt judges that are showing up, and so then now they're trapped in the building, and you feel like none of these people are able to hold their own against Dredd.
This poor guy. This poor sap.
Yeah. I'm stopping for 1 second, see if I can get it to just load a little differently, then maybe it'll work a little better for us because it's just not cooperating. Because they kind of like they spend all their energy that he's able to kind of work through it and mow them down. So it's like, okay, what are we going to do? How do we ramp up some tension? Well, they're still trapped in the building. I know what we'll do. We'll call in the corrupt judges. And I think, Loki, what you were saying earlier was perfect because they don't really set it up quite right. They don't really give you enough to go on, but it's all right. Look at this, Loki. They're trying to say you should do a retro review of the Stallone version. I don't think I can do it. I don't think.
You don't want to watch Rob Schneider like hanging out in the dumpster getting
eat recycled food. It's good for the environment and okay for you.
Oh my gosh, that's worse than the corn, like the sharks in the corn, because the sharks in the corn is just so stupid. But like the Stallone Dredd, I don't think that's what they're going for. Like they want me to try to pretend this is serious, and I can't. It was Rob freaking Schneider. Like no, no.
Look, if
and they can work well to. Go ahead.
If that movie came out today, you would be grateful compared to watching an episode of She-Hulk.
Oh, that's true. Things actually happened in that Dredd movie. That's true.
And they can work well together. Look at what's it, Demolition Man. Rob Schneider and Stallone can work well together. They just don't work well in this movie.
Yeah. All right. Listen, Mags, thank you so much. $2 super sticker. All right, let's do it. Let's find something for Mags. What would make Mags happy? Well, first off, I got to get the comic go away. So let me figure out how to turn that off. Let's see. I don't know, Mags. We got to figure out. I got to run down the list, Mags, so you can tell me what the favorite. I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to come up with like what they are, what I've got loaded. This was one I found, Mags. It's rather disturbing. I don't know. It kind of fits the Dredd universe, too. So let's see if it fits. I don't know.
In exchange for sex.
That's a lie. I wasn't taking money for sex. I was taking burgers for sex. And curly fries for a diddle and a pickle for a lookie. What? It's my Tuesday afternoon special.
Like Mama's environment. If it's Mama's environment, what can I say?
I like it.
It makes me laugh because it's just so over the top. And I thought to myself after watching, we've been watching My Name Is Earl, and some of the stuff they got away with, I'm like, interesting.
See now,
did you get the soup or the special? You got the special. That's what I got. I'll take the soup.
I'll take the soup. Yep.
Had they put that in a courtroom scene in She-Hulk, I'd have laughed. Probably.
We would have laughed at that. Yes. Thank you, Max. She says, "Welcome back." Thank you so much. And yeah, there's some just crazy stuff in the chat or whatever. So let me try to. Which, by the way, I love that they just change things on StreamYard. They just I mean I don't know what did they send out an announcement to tell me that it no longer says share screen and now says like present or something. I'm like, wait, where'd share screen go? I had to have a little moment where I had a little panic where I was like, wait a minute, my button's gone. So yeah, I think that we really want to give credit. This is where you're saying though, just the crazy in her eyes is done so well.
Yes, and she is intimidating. She's scary, and she's around guys that outweigh her by 100 pounds. No one is going to cross her. No one.
Well, it's that she could say it just so casually, like, grab me a Coke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we get glimpses, right? Because when the one guy is giving her grief, she attacks him, kind of thing. Like, so you get glimpses that she's not to be trifled with. So you can understand why people are afraid of her and that kind of thing. So,
but she never gets to that over the top yelling. She is still. I mean, she throws a punch, but she's still composed. This is your fault. You know this, right? You know this is your fault. Can you handle this? Can you handle this? Can you effing handle this? And
Stephen Ransom's here as well, so he agrees with you in there. Yeah. So I just loved everything about it. I loved all this. I love the judges on judges stuff. There's a little bit of bantering and things like that are very good. I really liked it. And I love the fact that she is super kick butt. She doesn't get mentioned. We talk about strong females and in our pop culture stuff sometimes.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess forgot.
Through and through.
And of course, again, the believable protagonist, right? Because he's all battered and beat up. He has to do surgery on himself. He has, cauterized his wound, and he has to push through.
Staples.
It's like we get good, believable stuff, man. There's our General Hux being a character.
Great scene though here.
I was to say if the movie was made today, they would have like just opposed Dredd being a badass there with putting on like a Hello Kitty Band-Aid.
Yeah, we would have had to have a joke. We would have had to have a joke. Yeah. My med, he hit my med. I got an extra Band-Aid, and it's like some sort of silly. Yeah,
they were on sale.
You're absolutely right. That's exactly what they would do. It's like this is why this movie works so well. So they don't waste any time with that kind of stuff. God, that's the perfect image, isn't it?
And then the scene where Anderson lets Hux go, and she explains, and she just doesn't. She's like, I know I failed. I know I'm done. But in the meantime, I am still until my review is over. I can dispense justice, and I just did. And Dredd is just like, okay.
Absolutely agree with that. Yes.
Did Dredd come before the raid? I don't know. I don't know when Raid came out.
I think the Raid came after.
Yeah, I think so too.
So it was in that moment where Anderson is explaining it, and when she's finally like putting the pieces together, that's when it clicked for me how earlier in the movie we saw Mama taking out the guy's eyes. That was him. It was at this moment at the end. I'm like, oh, that was the guy.
Yeah. Raid came out first. Raid came out in 2011. So, but yeah, this was this. But we're not going to get any of that anymore. That's the same thing. It's another film that we could do the exact same conversation about the depths of secondary characters, the way they shot it, the way they filmed it, the way they added so much in the backgrounds and all of that. So, and oh my gosh, you did not make Decepticon. What are we going to do with you? You can't be a mod if you're going to make Pete Davidson references. I can't.
Oh, stop giving them ideas. You're giving them ideas.
Pete Davidson's greatest enemy is dehydration. Like, I feel like I could defeat him with a glass of water. He looks perpetually dry.
He looks ill. He's always looking ill. Always look ill. So, what was it? So if you had to kind of like Loki, where do you kind of put a ranking on a film like this? Because it deserves so many props in some ways, but then it doesn't get comic book accurate in other ways. But the performance is so freaking great, and it's a very challenging film because it's so good, but there are issues with it. It's very challenging to figure out how to kind of discuss through that. Because I would highly recommend it for folks that really want to just get old school, edgy comic book crazy stuff going on.
What are you willing to forgive? Yeah, that's a big thing. A lot of people never see that and never like, oh, well, they got this wrong or they got that wrong. A lot of people never sit there and go, you know what? The Stallone movie, they, like you said, they look like they were about to go to a military parade. This looks all lived in. This is what they live in. This is what they fight in. Dredd goes out every single day. He wears that helmet. He wears the armor. He does what he does. There's, like you said, there's so much they got right. I'm willing to overlook the things they didn't, because this is honestly one of the best comic book movies that's ever been made. So that there were things they didn't get right with the Crow. You don't hear
Right.
anybody bitching
Nope.
about any of that. Most of
That's
this,
gonna
you're not
be
going to
a-
hear me bitching.
That's going to be a
So-
tough talk hard because I don't know that we have a whole lot of negatives to pile on the Crow. 'Cause we do the Crow in about 3 weeks, guys. So right before
Oh.
Halloween.
One of the greatest films ever, in my top
yeah.
5 favorite films of all time.
It's truly a spectacular film, and to live through it with that soundtrack and stuff in real time, it changed everything.
Bob's
It changed everything. It was just such a game player for me, man. That just played that out, man. It was just on repeat all the time.
So I've got to give you a little tease, because I asked Pops if this would be okay. I've got a it's a clear vinyl, okay? So it's like crystal clear, but it's got the Firebird Crow on it. I have never opened this record. So it is still yes, the Firebird from the Crow Firebrand. It's got it in the middle of the crystal clear vinyl. I've never opened it. I've never broke, because it was like $200. I was like, you know what? I've never paid that much for a vinyl before, but I'm just gonna go all in, and I'm gonna get it. So I've got that here. I'll open it. I won't do it live. I'll do a video of it, but because I don't have a live camera unless I want to use my phone. I guess I could do that, but yeah, we'll do that when we watch.
We're gonna show it off. We're gonna show it off during the Crow stream. So we have anything? I don't really have anything Dredd anymore. I would have shown something off. I just don't have it anymore. I've kind of like, you get them and read them and move them on, whatever. And I have to admit, to me, because I'm such a Batman and Daredevil guy, the Dredd just didn't kind of make the cut. It was just a different type of version of that type of universes for me, and I enjoyed them for what they were, but I wasn't going to become a big collector of them. And I have to admit, getting original 2000 AD old school issues was extremely expensive or a hassle. That's all there was to it. So
yeah, for my own taste for Dredd, I like a good crossover, and Dredd is rich with crossovers.
Oh, there's great crossovers. Ooh, yeah,
and
there is good crossovers.
I mean, even of all the ones that's really good, I think is the Batman Judge Dredd crossovers.
I was gonna say, I think I probably have Batman Judge Dredd. I just don't know where it is.
They
I
actually
have to have it. 'Cause I had all the crossovers.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got the Batman Alien, Superman Alien now. I picked up Dredd versus Batman, Batman Ninja Turtles, and I got the Batman Alien just like a couple of days ago. So
yeah,
Decepticon's Cave was at the opening of Crow in Dallas. Yeah, awesome.
Oh, nice.
I guess we're closer in age than I realized, Decepticon, because I saw it opening night. Saw Crow.
So did
I had a friend who was, he was. We talk about comic books. I was in like a perfect way to get into comic books, whether you're a reader, collector, or an investor. He was an investor, so he had first Crow #1 and Caliber Presents 27, which is the first appearance of Crow. Which is, I don't care how raw the book is, it's extremely expensive. They don't exist. And so it turned me into the Crow, and he dressed up as Crow for Halloween. I was like, I was down the rabbit's hole. I could see you, Joker. Totally.
I did that last year.
I could see you doing that. Yeah, totally.
So just because this piece here is one of my favorite ones. Getting it done though, everything here was fine. From here in was absolute hell, because I'm moving right toward this pocket of nerves right here, and it's just ow.
Old Gamer 72 Cullis is very envious and jealous of Loki's Metallica LPs. I totally agree. And hey, to Pacific 414, he popped in here. There is a Dredd vs Predator. Is that on your? You got that in the box there, Loki? You probably have it. There is a Dredd vs Predator.
I do not have Dredd versus Predator.
Yeah,
but I'm working on it.
Oh, okay. So Liger's doing Wikipedia on us, timing up our timelines on the raid and Dredd. We're kind of like this in the so it's more like a release schedule decision as well. So, and if you got to have Funko Pops, I guess a Judge Dredd is not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. If you got to have Funko Pops, yeah, I have like a few left, and actually, so
I have 100.
I think we all give Karl Urban like the highest possible imaginary score. Oh, you have Gwenpool. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hot shot.
So
Hot shot.
I think
Incendiary.
I don't even know how to
Yes.
give Urban. I don't even know what to critique of Urban's performance or execution. I don't even know. I don't know there's such a thing as a 10, but it's as close as a perfect performance and execution that I can imagine for the character. I just can't envision something better.
Did you ever hear about the? Did you ever hear about the Conan thing when they were the guy Conan the Barbarian said he was sitting there at the desk with his typewriter, and Conan literally came to him and stood over him, and he was like, you will write this movie this way, and you will make this movie, or I will, rip you from limb to limb. I honestly believe Dredd came to Urban and was like, this is how you are going to play me. This is what you are going to do, and you will be me. And Urban literally channeled that and went in and made himself Dredd. Like you said, he ate, drank, breathed Dredd while he was doing this movie. I don't think anybody else could have done it like he did it.
I will tweak your theory in that I think Alex Garland did what you said with the Conan writer when he wrote Dredd. Because he is the guy who adapted all of this. He hired Jock to do those storyboards. All of that was done before they had Urban. Like they actually had all this put together, pulling all this together. But I think because of Urban's performance, because I can never criticize him for his McCoy. Like he's not the problem. He's just immersive. He's just that immersive as an actor. I think he's just that immersive. Agree. He's old school. He's an old school tactician. That's who he is. And he never came out of character. You know how much fun it would have been to be on set with him?
Oh yeah.
He never stopped being. Is that what it takes to be that brilliant? Because Heath Ledger was that with Joker, right? Heath Ledger never came out of character. Kind of got weird at times. Like, dude, people were like, I guess there were rumors about the diaries and stuff. Like, is he okay? Like, he's not quite sure he's right.
Method actress.
Part of it. Method
actress.
I don't know.
Mama. Yeah, apparently even like between takes. Karl Urban, he did not break character. He did not smile. He did not take the helmet off if he could help it.
No, I don't think he took the helmet off. That's what I understood. So I was telling Joker, I says there's even stories of them telling jokes and stuff. He never would crack a smile. And there's one story I heard, and I have never validated all this. One story I heard was they'd crack a smile, and the guy did it after the laugh, and Urban's just standing there, and he goes, "Okay, I'm sorry." Like it was just that awkward, and that he was just that immersive in this.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So. Obviously, Lena Headey. Lena Headey's mama is like a 9. I mean, her performance is freaking amazing. I don't even know what to say.
Urban is he's a Aussie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Because from what I've heard, like Brit, Irish, Scottish, Aussie actors, they focus on acting, where American actors focus on being famous.
Urban's a New Zealander, yeah. And they also have to do another reason why the Brits are so well trained is because they do so much theater.
Right.
Our people just drive to California and get a job. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like they're never trained, and we see this all the time in our modern entertainment, guys. This movie was only 10 years ago.
Matt Smith.
Oh my gosh, yes. What? I don't know. Any last thoughts on? I have something I want to talk to you guys about before we go in this wonderful chat. So, anything else you guys want to say about Dredd? It's a high recommend for me.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it's like, because I'm such a horrible critic. I know you guys. I'm really hard, and so you're gonna totally freak out. It's like an 8, maybe a 7.5 to 8 for me. I know that sounds low, but you got to remember I don't hand out 10s. So I was like 5 10s ever. Like there's hardly any 10s, and there's a 9 is like a classic. I think The Crow's a better film. It just is a better film. And I just there's one laggy part in Dredd. Like it's just I need to trim this. We need to sort this piece out a little bit, and it's also there's no depth. I mean, it is what it is. So we got a terrorist attacking a building. It's like there's no depth to it. It's like it is what it is. So it's like it's a high 7, 8. It's great, but that's still like a 3.5 to 4-star film for me. That's like I thought that was pretty freaking good.
I'd kind of go a step beyond that and say that it movie wise, as a movie, it gets an 8 from me. As a comic book movie, I give it a 9. It's an excellent, absolutely excellent comic book movie.
Yeah, it's top 10.
As for,
It's top
yeah.
10 for me. Yeah,
As far as movies go, though, an 8.
Yeah. Okay.
I would agree. It's definitely an 8 or a 4 out of 5. I mean, I would recommend this film highly. Like before we came on the air, I was telling the story. I watched it last night at work, and I had one customer who said he said I've never seen Dredd before, so we watched it, and I'm like, so what'd you think? And he's like, I want that gun.
Everybody wants the gun and the helmet, baby. The gun
and the bike
helmet.
and the bike. So, but yeah,
Ironcaster?
So, I think at the end of the day, the ultimate piece that comes down to is the characters. How well are the characters in an adaptation? And I think that is ultimately the element of this movie that ultimately shines through, because while the universe it can be good to try to get the universe down to make it feel right for the setting you're trying to adapt and bring in, that I feel is where you can make some more sacrifices, where you can play with things a bit more. If you're going to adapt Judge Dredd, you better make sure you have Judge Dredd on screen. I don't want to see him crack. I don't want to see him smiling and taking the helmet off. That's ultimately the downside of I feel the biggest sin of the Stallone film is that they don't have the character right. And whereas if he could have been scowling and keeping the helmet on, I could overlook some of a little bit of the costume stuff. Some of that you got to figure. You can.
It was the time. It was the time. It was early 90s. It was mid 90s. So it's So yeah, I'm fine with that too. I agree with that. And Stallone is a judge. It's not that I don't believe he couldn't be a judge. Right. He's just not Dredd. He just was not Dredd. Is all there was to it. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I would say to kind of take all that into consideration, this is I'm thinking 8.5 or 9. It is a very fine film. Mm-hmm. It's just there are just those one or two little things that are worth kind of addressing and pointing to and saying, yeah, but.
All right.
A lot of it there are things I'm willing to kind of sweep away and say, yeah, but this isn't enough to really make it a problem. It's a hard recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, Liger fan stayed with us a long time. He had to bail out. Let's see. Mezco Toys released a Judge Dredd figure and his bike a few years ago. You might want to dig that. Awesome. Slow Assassin recommends. So, let's see here. It's criminal that hasn't gotten a sequel or a spinoff. Again, that creative team, man. They came at odds with each other and it derailed everything. Death Wolfens. Oh, hey, man. I don't think we said hey to you, but hey to you. 8.5. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, Dredd. Old Gamers 72 Cutlass says, I'll try Dredd. Listen, comic books are great. There's plenty of trades. I agree with Ironcaster. There's tons of crossover stuff. So you're like me, like a Batman guy. Batman Dredd was a cool way to kind of get a little bit more into it and stuff like that. So yeah, there's tons of stuff out there. So
Judge Joker.
Oh, is there a Judge Joker? Is there the Dredd Joker crossover?
Well, in one of the Batman crossovers, Joker joins up with the Dark Judges.
Right. Oh no, that is the story of the Batman.
Ironcaster, you need to send me that image. That will be my next cosplay.
Oh, just Google Batman Dredd. That's the story of their that comic book, the crossover.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Because I wanted to start trying to do to put a Dredd cosplay together. Now that you said Joker Dredd, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold on now.
All right, so last couple minutes here. Throw some things at you guys for some feedback. Obviously, you guys on the panel, I trust so much with honesty and brutal honesty. And then those of you in chat. So I have my memberships ready to go. Going to be launching my memberships. I'm going to do a video to announce it and break it down in detail. Loki gave me some advice. Here's what I came up with, Loki, which, bear with my brain. It is awfully cheesy. Everything involves the word pops. So the 1 month badge is a Funko Pop, but I chose Tron because I'm such a Tron guy. But I said, well, let me get Funko out of the way. So I got it by Funko Pop, right? And then you move up as you remember longer. Your badges are things like ring pops and like a lollipop.
I like
and
it.
And then at the end, and you move older. So the oldest ones is like pops from the Muppets, pops from the Goldbergs, pops. So that's all of the badges are pops related. And then the memes are the memes are more like things that we have. So we have like a Talk Hard meme for Pump Up the Volume. We have, so I try to find, because you're only allowed to have a couple. So that's kind of how I approach those. I did 4 tiers. I did like the $1.99, the $4.99, the $9.99, and the $24.99, and just kind of did them as, thank yous. And then it's more like member streams, and then it's more like, if you're at the higher end, it's more like you will have a place on a member stream. You'll just be invited in, those kinds of things. So we'll do giveaways, and I think I'm going to try to hold out until I'm really close to 1,500 subscribers, and then I'm going to do some giveaways. And you guys are not going to believe what I got my hands on. Well, I haven't opened the box yet, but the box is right there. I think I'm going to do an unboxing because I'm so excited to have it. I have a sealed box of the original Jim Lee X-Men cards.
Okay.
$200 to $300 box is in this box. Yes. That just came, and then I haven't picked them up at the post office because they didn't put a key in a locker. Why do I have a freaking post office box so they don't follow the rules? They did the stupid little card, and I got to go to the counter. Like, who has time? I have things to do. I don't have time. I have 10 more Tron wax packs.
Nice.
So we can give away wax packs. We can open them on air. Like if we do a contest, and let's say Joker, you've won. We can open them, or I can mail them to you. Either way, we can do it either way. I also have to give away. I think Loki and Ironcaster, I shared with you. Joker, I want to see Joker's face. You ready? I have original sealed packs of Raiders of the Lost Ark and Return of the Jedi. I know. I couldn't believe I found these. I'm like, holy cow. I found this whole drawer in the car. Again, when you're trapped for a hurricane for like 3 days straight and you can't do anything, you go through everything. And I'm like unearthing. Also, I had stuff all over our Florida room. I had stuff everywhere. All my...
That's tasty.
It was
I didn't know about the Raiders. I knew about the.
I thought I texted you. I'm sorry. Yeah, no,
That's
I have.
Know about the Raiders.
It was not a full box. It is maybe 15 packs, and I have a couple sets. I did post a couple sets on eBay. They're not. I mean, obviously, that age. You guys, we've talked about the centering. You get what you get with the centering. Same with Superman 2. Tons of Superman loose cards. But the centering is just all over. But you know what? They're really cool. The corners are crisp. They're in the pack. So I have tons of those packs to give away. And Ironcaster just for you, bro. I still kept them. Have them right here. Look, the gum is still there.
Oh, wow.
That was the gum we did, and we popped it.
Mm-hmm.
For the right price. I was going to chew the gum. So yeah, and I have
only
some
on the member
books.
stream though.
I have some comic books we'll give away. I got I have a sketch art Superman 1000. I was going to do for I know Loki, even though I love you, bro. I'm not sure I can give it to you, but we give it.
Wow, we got a deal
because it's for Action 1000. I got them all. I just bought a whole box, and it's probably the most modern book I've actually bought. But I thought it'd be cool to have because they had like 15 variant covers or some insanity. So I think I got like 10. But then the guy was like, "Oh, I have these couple extra ones." I'm like, "Yeah, throw them in." So I thought.
Oh,
so yeah, that's our little sneak peek of what's coming on the old Pops.
Speaking of books, Ironcaster, did you get something recently? Because I'm getting mine on Thursday.
Yeah,
you got
mine,
yours?
I got mine Saturday.
Everybody's getting their books.
What can we be talking? Yes.
There it is. Yep. Everybody's getting their books.
Oh. And of course, I had to get cover B. I had to get cover B because
I got cover A.
Because Yaira.
Right.
Yeah. I cannot angle this because of my camera.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time with the camera thing. I don't know what to do there. So I got the second camera. I played around with it. It's like I'm having a hard time because when you move it all, it goes out of focus. And I don't know. I can't afford major upgrades, but the little bit we did at the initial stream we did, the monetization stream, I used it. I did buy a little webcam, and we do some more of that. Do a little breaks. But yeah, that's what's coming. I'll do a little video announcing the memberships, making it live. And then we'll do more like a celebratory, like 1,500, and then we'll do some of these contests and those kinds of things, and then we'll do at least one member stream a month, and probably more than that. It's easy enough for me to do. I'm going to try to find out on that because once a month I do Loki's show. We have been doing it once a month, so I probably can do a member stream midday as well for folks like Joker who works the crazy shifts and things like that. So, I don't, poor guy. I'm surprised he's able to stay awake for this, let alone, so I could probably do something like at noon once a month, things like that. So
I made sure that I got home right after work so I could at least get a slight nap in so I could be awake for this because I was not going to miss this. I
totally appreciate it.
I mean, come on now, Clown Prince, God of Mischief. This is box office right here, folks.
Well, it doesn't help. It doesn't help either that we threatened to give him 2 years in the ISO queue if he didn't show up.
And you threatened my hyenas, you big jerk.
Yeah, old gamer. So here's the thing with this. I've been chasing Miss Cindy Morgan down like crazy. I've done interviews with her past. She and I speak like off record, and I just can't. We can't. So that's what I was going to try to do. But the clock's ticking on this 40th anniversary thing. So I may just do a stream on that. I don't know if we want to do Talk Hard on Tron. Tron's my guilty pleasure. I mean, I got to be honest. I love Tron way more than I should. I just really do. I love Tron so much. But it came out when I was, 11 years old. So, yeah. Sorry if I missed any of you guys in chat. You guys are just freaking awesome. I usually try to go back and replay my shows and try to follow some of the chat because I can't keep up. I definitely need more I give Chris Persia access just to run chat and stuff. Maybe that's what I should do. I don't know if he's up for that. That's what we should do. But Joker, man, thanks for doing this with us, man. We haven't had a guest before. It's been a lot of fun. You're definitely an aficionado on Dredd, more than I was in some ways.
But I know what I know, and when it comes to films and stuff that I really, really like from films and TV shows, I deep dive into the stuff. So I may not know books or expanded universe of comics, but from the visual stuff, I know what I know. So.
Fair enough.
And this was a lot of fun. I joined the chat with Loki almost every the morning, and it was good to be on a panel that wasn't a member stream. So you folks in the chat can finally get the greatness that is us at one time.
Well, it's been awesome having you, Loki, my friend. Your show is always awesome. Now, I will tell you, I have a correction for the morning show. You briefly started talking House of Dragon. I can't. You got to give me more than a day. Like you do your Monday show, so I can't watch Monday till I've watched the show. But then on Tuesday, I'm watching the show, and you're like talking. I'm like, no. So I had to stop, and then I had to fast forward a little bit, make sure you weren't talking. So no, it's fine.
Right.
You have to warn me. For those of you who are not up to that,
Loki
I'm caught up now, but it doesn't help me from this morning show.
Loki just saying, Monday, if you want, during my break time, I might be available to join in with you and Zero and the kitty.
The kitty.
I have
love to have you, brother.
I am enjoying House of Dragon. It has been
so
something
good.
that's been. It's just fun to see decent characters. Like I just freaking have decent characters. However, we're hours away from me suffering again. For those of you at home, I know I saw Matt come in. I'm an idiot. I watch Andor, so you don't have to. And since I've been on Hurricane, you get like a double dose of my review. I'll do last week's and this one because. Got to be honest, last week not a whole lot happened. You didn't miss a whole lot.
It's Andor, She-Hulk, and Lord of the
She-Hulk's
Rings
almost
3 days in a row.
And for those of you that didn't hear me say, I've been rereading Frank Miller Daredevil from 168 to 181 is my goal. That's where he introduces Elektra to I literally remember reading 181 and I cried. And I don't mind admitting it. I mean, I'm amongst my nerd friends. I don't mind. My wife would tease me, but I'll be honest. When I read 181. If you know what happens in that issue, I turned the page and I was like, I couldn't believe they did it. Yeah. So you talk about great story. I don't even know what's happening. My ADD can't handle distractions like that, my friend. An IRONCASTER, my friend, what's going on with you and your streams and shows and what's going on, man? I know you do Saturday.
Yeah.
Twig.
Yeah, the last few weeks have been a little wonky, but I've been all over the place, so I'll be kind of linking people more on the Twitter Bird app.
That's it, man. Keep us posted. Let us know how to participate and help support you out the best
And-
we can. And listen, if you need someone to help keep you focused on what's good out there, he's your guy. He's the optimist in the room. He's the one that's diving deep, finding good things, trying to keep recommendations, even though, yeah, I know, common writer. He's like a freaking slogo band, walking billboard for these people. Even though he also torments us, Loki and I in particular. Chris Persia's throwing gas on the fire, Loki, about sharks and freaking turkeys attacking. And I'm like, we put these two together, and I'm like, oh my god, what kind of crap are they trying to make me watch?
You know what?
You
You know
weren't
what
here. We're
hasn't
talking
killed?
about the turkey killing, were you?
You know what hasn't killed anyone yet?
Oh my gosh, it's what's it called? Thanksgiving is what it's called. Is that
Donuts. Oh wait, there was a movie.
Anyway, so Thanksgiving is on Tubi, and I pull it up on my phone because I'm trying to read the description, and I realize that it starts playing, and it's just boobs running across the screen, like the turkey's chasing boobs, and I'm like, what is happening? And I'm like, Ironcaster, what the heck have you made me? What is going on? I can't have this on in the house, especially when the family's around. And I'm on my phone, but reality is still like, okay, I don't want to watch this stuff. So who knows?
Pops is pitching a tent.
Pops is not. Pops is like just mortified. Like, what have you got me into, kind of thing. So
private chat.
Cocaine Bear
Look.
is a thing. Yes, I know about Cocaine Bear. That is Elizabeth Banks' new movie. You guys were talking about this morning. That's Ray Liotta's last film, so I don't know much about it. I have a hard time believing Elizabeth Banks can actually do something good. So we'll see how it goes. Go ahead, Joker. What were you going to say?
I'm just saying, just the thought process of a 175 pound bear, which is a small bear, digesting that much stuff, which they have to sniff it first to see what it is. And I'm like, oh my. Yeah. I mean, from what I've heard, how the stuff affects you.
Well, mind you, up in Russia, there are stories about the bears that they're going and huffing the oil drums from the jet fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my! My!
So,
An old
like-
gamer. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I wouldn't
So
mean to interrupt.
I was just say that this is like all the bears like do up there apparently.
I've
This
got
is what
two.
Loki's got a Loki has a spare. Loki has a spare.
Well, it's not just a spare. I've got two different versions. I've got the original release LP, which has the blue and the red vinyl, and then I've got there was a limited edition Target release that's got like they're clear vinyl, but they have one has a blue swirl inside the vinyl, and then the other has the red swirl inside the vinyl. They're
Yeah,
the
we have to have
same.
both.
They're made by different companies, but it's the same tracks. But yeah.
So you have to have the Tron version and the Sark version, basically.
Yeah.
So, yes, and Common Idiot is chiming in. Yeah, he's a fellow masochist, enduring Andor and She-Hulk. And the best part was I didn't do a review last week, and he's like, "Listen, I can't wait to hear what you had to say," because he knows he likes it way more than I do. And I'm like, and it's yes, Chris Persia, throwing the mayhem around, talking sharks, talking crazy schlock. So we have fun stuff lined up, though, folks. We do, we really do. Let me make sure I got my calendar right. Next week, I'm going to try to get the thumbnails and try to get the stuff tonight. We'll see how I hold up. I've been up since like 3 a.m. So bear with me.
I'm gonna probably
Army of
do-
Darkness.
Oh,
Army of Darkness will be next week, and then
We
Sleepy
have
Hollow,
plans for you, girly girl.
and then The Crow. So we will have a busy rest of October before we'll get back to Fifth Element. We just had to move it out of the way so we didn't mess up our October. And we have fun stuff talk. We've got some plans. We got some fun stuff we've talked about. We're talking hard about all sorts of different things. We'll have to do a catch up night, collectibles and that kind of thing. We'll do some of that kind of stuff. And like I said, lots of great stuff. You guys in chat have been freaking amazing. And this panel is amazing. And I can't thank everybody enough for being here and doing what we do, man. So it's just an awesome time. Can't believe I get to do this every week. It's just freaking awesome. So I do have a fun little clip that I didn't play that I needed to for Ironcaster, but who has not watched RRR as far as I know. Because you have not watched RRR yet, have you?
Not yet. I want to see it.
Well, Joker will get the reference, and we'll say goodnight with this. Joker's going to have a good smile on his face, I assure you. There you go, buddy. See you, folks.
And with that, folks, toodles!